Good morning, Elevation. I hope you're having a wonderful day. My name is Courtney Jansen-Grieve, and I have led the Journey team for a number of years now. And we just wanted to give you a bit of an update. So a few weeks ago, hopefully you would have seen the amazing photo of the people who participated in our Ride for Refuge. That's our major fundraising event for the year. We had an amazing turnout of riders and walkers, and we also had an amazing set of volunteers who made it all possible. And so I just wanted to give you some history of the Journey team in Elevation and kind of our walk with refugees. As a lot of people are new to the community, and even those who've been around a while may not really know kind of the richness of the history. So since we're talking about the Ride for Refugees began in 2004, and it eventually changed its name to the Ride for Refuge so that it could include more broader groups of people. So this event has been supported by many from our community over many years, some starting right away. And so I just wanted to tell you that the ride money actually goes to supporting sponsorships as well as in-city events and our local partnerships as well. So from 2015 to 2021, we as a community have collectively raised $240,000 during the Ride for Refuge, which is an incredible amount of money. We're very lucky that we can use some of that to support sponsorships as well as the local organizations and events and other initiatives that I'm going to talk about today. But I wanted to take you back to why we do this. And this is an important question, and it's an important understanding to kind of ground ourselves in kind of how this started. A number of years ago, we had a family come to Elevation. There were Javier, Jamile, Gabby, and Paula. And they were an amazing part of our community. They got to Canada. It took 7 years for the Canadian government to hear their case as to why they should be allowed asylum in Canada. During that time, they obviously settled in, they got jobs, they became productive members of our broader community as well as super important members of our church community. And then they were denied their claim. So ultimately, after a few years of trying to figure out ways to keep them here, they were deported back in the fall of 2012. I can't really explain to people who didn't know them or weren't there just like the impact that had on those of us who were around at the time and were involved with their family, because it really is not something that you can put into words. I had always thought of the airport as a happy place. I had been, obviously going to visit my family or going on adventures on an airplane. It's super exciting. I'd even experienced some unbelievable joys in airports with refugee families who were being reunified. But this is the most devastating thing to witness, really. Like, their extended family in Canada had been granted asylum. So Javier's siblings, 2 of his siblings and their families, were allowed to stay. And a different person heard Javier and Jamile's claim and decided that it wasn't real enough. And so they were denied their claim. And so the family here is terrified for the family who has to go back home. And so, so just like really a part of our history that really was a defining moment in why we do what we do. So many refugees don't have a fair chance. And so this is kind of something that we can go alongside them and really help to at least, better their odds. They were not allowed to speak with anyone in Javier's family. His father, to my knowledge, still can't contact them unless he just kind of randomly shows up and says hi and then leaves again. And so they're doing okay. They're doing well. But, ultimately, they've had to restart their lives so many times. And it's extremely hard to do that. And so just seeing what they faced has really propelled our church to kind of see how we can improve the lives of refugees that come to Canada as well as those living abroad. So in 2011, we started our team. We originally called ourselves the Proud to Protect Refugees team. That was a campaign going on at the time. And so at some point we decided we'd shorten it because that was a mouthful. And so we landed on the Journey team. Our refugee sponsorships began to be supported formally through Elevation in 2014. So we had some previous to that were done through members of our community, but not kind of through the church specifically. So as a whole, our church has initiated 7 sponsorships of individuals or families in the past, with 5 sponsorships coming to fruition for a total of 18 people. So currently we have sponsorship applications for 2 families, a total of 10 people, and they were originally from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Burma, which is what they prefer to call it. It's Myanmar to other parts of the world. We also have a family reunification in process at this time as well. And so we're waiting and hoping that will happen soon. And so we will be looking for people to join at least one of those teams in support over the next couple years. We're expecting them hopefully before the spring of 2024. So we'll be having, just a little information session on what it's like to be a sponsor in spring next year, 2023. So if you're interested, please just keep that in mind or contact me. That would be great. A note about sponsorships. We actually don't have a set of criteria to be sponsored that is very rigid. Some churches have very specific places they sponsor from or specific religions. And while we do have some kind of criteria in how we can support those people, it's much more broad and much more about our abilities to support them than who they are. And so I just wanted to let you know that we actually sponsor people from anywhere in the world, any gender identity as well as sexual orientation, race, religion, ethnicity. I don't know if I'm missing anything, but really, like, it's not for us a checkbox that they have to be like us or even somewhat similar to us. And so that's important. And we have supported different groups of people from different places and over different times. And so they aren't always sponsorships. Sometimes it's also just helping them in their journey to get to safety. And sometimes they don't need sponsorship. And so we're able to support them in that way as well. But I just wanted to let you know about that as well, because I think that's something that's a little bit unique about us as a church and something that's really important. Another really amazing initiative that we have is supporting post-secondary students in their education. So a number of years ago, a lady named Jeanette Duncan had the great idea to basically do scholarships for refugees in our community. Not Elevation community, but the broader community, because we have 3 post-secondary institutions. This seemed like a really great thing to do. And so Brennan Connolly, has really led that initiative. And so since 2016, we've given $24,500 in financial support to students living in KW. They may have gone to school elsewhere, but they were living in KW. And so we're really happy with that, and we look forward to seeing what else can happen from there. Another thing we've done over the years, and it takes on different forms in different seasons, is supporting a number of local organizations. The first one we supported was Welcome Home. It was a house where refugee claimants could come and live for up to a year once arriving in Canada. And they were an amazing organization. They've since closed. But it was wonderful, and we were able to really develop relationships and have weekly meals with them or take them on canoe trips. And so that was lovely. Another place that we support now is the Compass Refugee Center. They were previously called MCRS. And they are an organization that helps refugee claimants make their claim and access settlement services. Sanctuary Refugee Health Center is the most amazing organization who supports refugees in accessing medical services. They're a family doctor, they have counseling, they do it all, and they really have a refugee lens on everything, and they have refugees working for them as well. So they're able to really provide a service that is excellent, really. And then another place we support is the KW Multicultural Center. So newcomers to Canada of any kind, and to KW rather, can access a wide variety of services, including job searches, interpretation services, conversational English, and more. And they are an amazing service. They have some refugee-specific services as well. So that's kind of the update and the history. I'm sure there's lots more that I could have said about things that have been going on. But I just wanted to thank everyone for listening and for really taking the time to understand why refugees are important to us. Thanks.